seen it all, from cubicle fights to the bathroom stall brawls. We hate it here, yeah, we hate it here. From the break room drama to the boss that's here. We hate it here, oh, we hate it here. So grab a seat, it's hard from here. Office gossip, Twitter jams, management schemes, and toxic plans. You jump and jump, oh, we can relate. Welcome to work life, the thing we all hate. Office gossip, Twitter jams, management schemes, and toxic plans. You jump and jump, oh, we can relate. Welcome to work life, the thing we all hate. Erika and Marissa have seen it all, from cubicle fights to the bathroom stall brawls. We hate it here, yeah, we hate it here. From the break room drama to the bosses here. We hate it here, oh, we hate it here. So grab a seat, it's horror premiere.
Hey everyone, welcome to a Thursday edition of I Hate It Here. My name is Erika.
And my name is Dimitri Adam Ramsey. I am not Marissa.
Thank you guys for hopping on the Hotmess Express.
Full aboard. Welcome to the Hotmess Express. Choo choo.
All right, you guys. So as you can see, Dimitri is not Marissa. Marissa is out with the flu today. So she's pulling a Gentry, I think. I think those two are in cahoots. Gentry did not do her show with you this Tuesday. And I think maybe they're like protesting you and I because we're the Ike Turners of our shows.
You know, I almost said something, but that, yeah, we are the Ike Turner. I'm the Joe Jackson of Three the Hard Way. So, yeah, you can be the Griselda Blanco of...
of I Hate It Here?
Yeah.
So... luckily, guys, Realestatepapi was already scheduled to be on the show as our guest. That I was like, fuck it, you and I are going to do this together. And he was a little nervous at first. And I said, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Erika was like, all right, so you're going to be our guest. Great, we're going to have a lot of fun. And then right before we went on, oh, by the way, you're the co-host too. I'm like, what? We hate it here. Blah, da, 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 da.
No, not true. We've been talking about it since the morning. I let him know. And I said, you know, we'll be fine. I was like, as a matter of fact, watch us do so fucking awesome, you and I, rep, that we ditch these other hoes, right? And we create our own show.
I have Gentry's pink slip already written up. So, and I don't think Doreen wants to do it anyway. So I'm like, babe, we're canceling. She's like, okay. And then just runs off. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. If it goes bad tonight, then I take back everything I just said.
But if we rock it, who knows? Special Ed may actually be a thing. Because that's going to be the name of our show.
That's what we named it.
She's in the chat team. Well.
That's, again, why are you in the chat? That's like staying home from school because you're sick. Now you're outside playing. Just like Gentry was.
I'm telling you, they're protesting us. Those two are up to no good. I have a feeling that they're going to do their own spin-off show.
And we will do everything we can to destroy it.
All right, Poppy. That being said, thank you for jumping on and filling in this whole hour with me. I freaking appreciate it. And I mean, it was an easy thing to do. You have your own show, which I'll have you pitch in a bit. But you're super comfortable in front of the camera. You and I have a great rapport because I think we've got a really great friendship now, you and I.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though you talk shit about my equipment and
you talk shit about Houston all the time.
But that's valid. The world can see that.
So I need to talk shit about you in some capacity. And it's your janky equipment because I saw it firsthand a year ago at Gentry's.
What just happened before we went on air?
It was me. I messed up on my equipment, but it was user error, not the equipment.
Okay. That's the story we will stick with.
But you guys, so Dimitri, like I said, has become a really close friend of mine. As a matter of fact, he's the one who wrote our little jingle that we play as a beginning, like the opener and closer for the show. And let me tell you, you almost made me cry a little last week with on your show when you talked about the whole like how happy you were to have met everybody that you did through AMP/Station Head, through this little community that you and I are part of. So I really teared up when you sent me that note afterwards. Like it was so touching. So for those of you who are tuning into the show who don't necessarily know what AMP or Station Head is, I think Marissa and I have mentioned it in the past. And it's like internet radio. So we all met when Amazon used to have an app called AMP. And we all had our own little shows there. And unfortunately, after a year and a half, they shut it down. And we all were looking for a new home and landed in this new app called Station Head. So through those shows, we have all become really good friends. I've been able to make adult friends, as you mentioned, as you talked about during your show last week. And it's crazy, right? Because I don't think I've made an adult friend outside of work since I've been an adult.
Yeah, I don't like adults. Well, let me change that. I do like adults because me saying that makes it sound like that. Ooh, I like children. No, it's not easy to go out to meet people because you don't know what their motives are. You don't know if they're a serial killer or something. So at least with this, we have a little bit of separation to get to know each other. And then I think we were able to grow our relationships before we physically met. And it was just, it's been gold.
Yeah, absolutely. These chats have really made a difference in getting to know everybody's personalities. Because when we first started AMP, we did not have the chat feature. We would have to call into each other's shows as guests. And then once that chat, they like installed that chat function, all hell broke loose and everybody just became crazy, which happens. And that's how you and I met
Mhm.
through AMP. And that is through the chat of Kendall B, who is an extraordinary creator. It does an amazing show for us. He babysits 30 to 40 of us Monday through Friday for 3 hours.
For
And
free.
for free, like top-notch radio, because he is an actual radio personality.
Radio professional. So
Absolutely. But that chat is unhinged. And I mean, I've never, like, some of the things I say in that chat, I should be embarrassed. And like, we're all a bunch of degenerates in that show.
we are. That is like the cool kids cafeteria table.
Cool kids. We're like the bad kids. We're like the kids that
The
are in
bad cool
detention.
kids.
We're in detention with the cool teacher.
That's
He's
it.
just
Kendall gives us alcohol.
that's just rolling with the punches, because he, like, I would rather just fucking maintain these, like, feed into their craziness because I can't
Mhm.
control it. And that's essentially what that fucking chat is. I say some of the most vile things in there sometimes. Complete degenerate, and you guys are too, but we all accept each other's craziness. And I thank you for that.
He's like a Tai Chi master because once you get the momentum going, he just rolls you into the direction that you're going, but he's controlling it. So
I
y'all
know.
better be glad I'm not Kendall, because I would have given it to you probably a week or two for free. Then y'all got to pay.
You moved it
So
onto Patreon.
yeah. So
You bitches got to pay me now for babysitting your stupid asses. Because we're a lot to handle. So I mean, you all, if you are not part of the Station Head community and would love to join, the app again is called Station Head. You could find me at IHIH, and then from there start following some of the creators. Realestatepapi's on there as at Realestatepapi, and then the Kendall B show is the morning show that we're talking about. From there, you're going to meet other people who are in the chat that host their own shows. You'll start following them and kind of create, kind of jump into what music shows you like, and then start creating your own little like community. And again, that's exactly what's happened here. And we talked a little bit about this in December when we were in Denver, when we were out to dinner with Collie and Dave and everyone. We were talking about how difficult it is to be like to make adult friends. So we were all like giddy, like little children, all excited to be like hanging out together, right? This little meetup of ours. Gentry, V-Rod, and Nadi Yadi, beautiful ladies, were also with us at this dinner. And we were we're just talking about how like this is such a weird social experiment, but it's totally been like paid off for us. So you talked about it a little on your show last week. And everybody got a little verklempt in the chat. We were all like, and which is very rare because we are not like a goofy
Caring
bunch.
people.
We aren't. We are. We'll make fun of you for being a caring person, actually.
Absolutely. Oh, look at them crying.
Yeah,
You bitch.
we show love by bullying.
That's how you know we really like you. If we bully you, then yeah, you've made it. I mean,
Bullying
if we're
and
just like,
taunting.
hi, how are you? Then we haven't, you're still on probation.
We're still learning about you. We don't know you yet.
And
But then
Kendall in the chat said, stops plans to charge. Curses.
well, too late now, Kendall. You're in too deep. It's been too many years of you doing this for us. You're in too deep. You can't change course at this time. But after your show, you sent me a lovely message, and I again just want to thank you for that. It was super touching, and my little black heart got the warm fuzzies, and I thank you so much. But all right,
I'm
you guys,
glad, Mrs. Grinch.
enough of the fucking lovey-dovey, because Rep and I are not the lovey-doveys. It's time for us to rage and rant, right? I hate it here this week because, Dimitri, do you want to go first or do you want me to start it off?
You go first so I know which level of rage I can be at.
Oh, no, you could go any level. You know I'm down for any fucking spiral or event. I am all about it. But I hate it here this week. It has to do with your show.
What
Let me
happened
tell
with
you,
my
your
show?
Tuesday show. I missed the first half because we did a special show here for the I Hate It Here the morning after with Helen. So I tapped into your show late. So I caught the replay and I was in bed yelling by myself because what the fuck is a crunchy wrap? That is some straight up fucking white people food. And you guys were like, oh my God, this looks so delicious. No, I'm sorry. What kind of expensive Taco Bell nonsense was that? So let me explain to the audience what it was. So Dimitri played a video of this person making a crunchy wrap. So he gets like smaller tortillas and fries them. Then he starts kind of building like this tostada. But on the tostada, he puts Wagyu beef, which again is like craziness, right? Or are you putting Wagyu beef in the fucking crunch or like a wrap crunch? And then he does a whole like crunch wrap or whatever it's called. That's not a thing. That is not a thing.
That is a thing. We ate it. It's a thing. Doreen and I went to Taco Bell right after our show and got crunch wraps. We did.
Well, that's a really authentic Mexican food, and I was livid. I was yelling at the computer screen on my laptop. I was like, fuck that. That's wrong. So that's what I'm very angry about this week.
But you pretend to be white behind your gates. So how are you going to be mad because we're eating non-authentic Mexican food?
I do not pretend to be white. I don't. Only at the HOA meetings.
Oh, and here's my lovely wife in here making noise. Oh, she doesn't anymore. See, it's right there, baby. So Faith, our little white dog, had a Klingon, and now it's on the floor.
Oh no!
At least it's hard. So
Oh, no.
I didn't mean to derail the.
All right, so you go ahead. Tell me about your rant. What is really irking you today?
Dogs dropping Klingons on the floor when I'm in the middle of a show. That's not what my rant was about. My rant is about miserable people, because we were just talking about this community that we've created, as Dave calls it, social audio. And for the most part, like 99% of us, we get along great. Even if we're not that close, we respect each other. We don't do anything to intentionally hurt anyone. So for people to take the position of feeling that that's okay, it makes me want to lash out. And I don't have an issue with lashing out. Who is the lady that I tried to attack and did try to hurt her feelings?
Oh, you did. Shindermania.
Yeah, because again, she goes around bullying people, and
She deserves
When
it. Fuck that.
yeah, when she bullied Kali, one of the nicest men in the world, that's when I had to say something. So I'm this close to saying something about somebody else that did a similar thing, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna keep the peace, because when I get worked up and I start not remembering what I'm saying, I'm gonna have to hit this button.
I didn't mean to be so fiery.
No, that's good. That's good.
That's my passion.
So yeah. And in the chat, Nina L. Messer just came in.
I'm Nina L. Messer, and I approve this message.
So
You see? So I think you should do it. And Nina approves that message.
Yep. Not this time, but if it continues, then yeah,
You know,
we'll have a special show.
yeah, I'm not gonna go down the spiral about this person that that bullied Kali, but yeah, she got on my show, bullied my 13-year-old nephew, and I was ready to fly to California and stab a bitch. Because there's
You
nobody
should
on
have.
earth that I will protect more than that boy, and I was ready to stab somebody. Or well, not somebody, her. But let's move on. So fuck these miserable people that come into this community, because even though we talk a lot of shit, it's a very caring community. Without your love and support, I would have never I don't think I would have been doing this show as long as we've done it. The fact that I've even with that Marissa and I have even been doing it on air for so long is because a lot of you guys tune in, hear us vent and spiral and go off the rails. So I mean, the community is super supportive. So I think if you go off, it's understandable because nobody does that here.
Well, and we cut someone a break that you and I could have gone off on, but because you got ghosted before the meeting, and I got ghosted shortly thereafter. So you know who I'm talking about, and that's another person that, let's let sleeping dogs lie.
All right, let's move on for our rants before we get ourselves in too deep. All right, so I want to play Get to Know Papi.
Okay.
So, you know, many of us here in the chat know you, but people who don't personally know you or tune into the show want to get to know a little about you. So, where you're located, where, Papi?
In Las Vegas, actually in Henderson. So it's like right next door to Las Vegas. But Doreen and I moved here in 2016, like the week before Thanksgiving, and we've been here ever since, and we love it.
I know.
Much
and I
better
was there...
than Houston.
No, it's not. That I will say, because I've lived in both. I was in Vegas for 15 years. So do I miss the food? I miss the food, actually. And of course I have friends out there, but no, I'm happy here in Houston. I'm loving it. Okay. So what do you do for a living? It's in the name.
Outside of a creator?
Yeah, outside of a content creator.
Doreen and I are real estate agents. So Doreen doesn't do it as much anymore. She really got her license to back me up. And we kind of took last year off for the most part because we were working on D Cups, which is Doreen's company. I was trying to work on KP, which is, and I'll put it in the chat so people don't misunderstand what I'm saying, is knickers, please. They're like golf pants. So yeah, we're like, back fully.
Like golf streetwear is what it's going to be, right?
Yeah, athleisure wear.
I know. I'm so fucking looking forward to that. People are going to have to double take when we're all out about wearing your brand.
Yep. So, and for non-rhythmics, rhythmics meaning Black people, just call it KP because we don't want you for someone to hear the wrong thing when you're saying it and then you get hurt. And in the chat, Dave said, I sell drugs for my cousin. I do not.
Anymore.
Ever.
Anymore. All right. Okay. So what's your favorite your favorite way to spend a day off?
I don't know because I kind of never have days off. I work myself into this mode to where when I have a day off, I just sleep. And that could be like anywhere from right now to 45 days from now. How the hell did this get? All right. So remember before the show started, I put my I went into focus mode.
Uh-huh.
Look who's calling me.
Gentry?
Yeah, because she's like one of the only ones that can get through because she's on the emergency contact thing. And she knows what we're doing right now. She's
She's
just being difficult. I should answer it.
she can wait for another 40 minutes.
Yep, she can.
She
Marissa
can.
probably told her to call.
Marissa sent her a text and like they're talking shit about us, and we were.
Yeah, old salt and pepper asses.
All right. Let's see. What other questions you have? Okay. Food, because I was ranting about your little crunch wrap, and you guys do talk about food a lot. I know that Doreen loves like the crumble cookies, and she's got like her list of like Starbucks and items that she loves. What is your comfort food?
Burgers and fries. My favorite. If I was on a desert island, I could eat that for the rest of my life.
Burgers and
And
fries.
yeah, I'm a simple person. Doreen hates it when I take a steak and I'll like grind it myself and make a burger. She's like, you wasted a perfectly good steak. I'm like, it's the same thing. It's just prepared in a different form. So, but yeah.
We did have some really good burgers in Denver when we were there. That restaurant that Chappie and Dave took us to, those were amazing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we
Those
all
were
had
really good.
burgers.
Yeah, we all had
forgot
burgers on
about
that
that.
table. All right. If you could be an expert on any subject, what would it be? Because I'm asking this because you have multiple plates in the air all the time.
Any subject.
Any
Well,
subject.
I'm already an expert on titties.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that, motherfucker. I was going to put that as a disclaimer. And you can't say titties, and you said titties.
Well, I know I'm already an expert on it. So let me see. Probably Premier League soccer or
Premier League
football.
soccer?
Yeah,
Oh.
because it's the world sport. So if I know like random like stats or figures, then people they respond to that. You would be surprised at what people respond to. And I've learned this just being a realtor for like the last 7 or 8 years. If you have like a bunch of useless knowledge, like I do sometimes, Doreen would tell you when I play Jeopardy, she's like, how'd you know that? But it's like you hear this one thing, and if you can connect it to something, then you may have a client. So if I knew more about soccer or like the history of it, then I think that would be beneficial to me.
You have that many people asking, like, you could connect to while selling homes about Premier Soccer or like Premier Football. That's crazy.
Well, and you'll just, even if
Or
we're
is
at a
it just
bar or
like
something.
the sport?
Well, no, it's like, let's say you're at a bar or something and you hear somebody say, do you remember that shot that Henri hit from the corner and blah blah blah? And I don't even have to know everything that happened, but I know Henri, I know the teams he played for, and I could interject myself into that conversation. And I'm a likable guy. So even if we don't talk about soccer anymore, I've made that connection with them. And it's the world's game.
It is. And I need to reach out to you and Chappie because I need to find a team because we as well were talking about that. My nephew and I, we want to start getting into it, especially since the World Cup is going to be here.
Mhm.
And they are going to have some, I think Houston might be, no. Are they having them all over? What I think.
Miami, we should go to one in Mexico. So it's like Canada, United States, and Mexico. So there's going to be,
Ooh.
I think we have the majority of the stadiums.
Mm-hmm.
But I think LA, I think Denver may be getting some games. Dallas? I know
Why not?
Miami is, but
I
I'll
know
look
it's
it up.
either here or Dallas, but I want to go. We want to go see one because that would be freaking amazing, and especially with it being in our own backyard. So we need to start figuring out what team we're into, and I'll be reaching out to you and Chappie on that. All
Well,
right.
those teams, they're going to be international teams. So you have to be for the US. Well, I guess you could be from Mexico, but yeah, it's yeah, we'll plan it.
Okay. All right. So if you could give one piece of advice. Oh no, what's a piece of advice that you've received and you've followed to this day?
I don't think I consistently follow any advice until I realize I've screwed up by not following that advice. And then I'm like, oh yeah, my dad did tell me that. But I don't know. I guess maybe treat people the way you want to be treated. So if I'm being mean to somebody, then that means I really don't like that person and I don't care if they're mean back to me. So yeah, just treat people the way you want to be treated.
Same energy that you give
Yeah.
out as you receive. Got it. Okay. So last question, because this is going to take us into the clip I want to play for you because I want to get your reaction on this.
Okay.
What, as a realtor, what is the worst thing you've ever seen in a house?
Ooh. Let me see. So there was one house. I didn't actually see it. Doreen went into it. There was no floor. And there was like 30 offers on it. This is when stuff was going crazy. What's the craziest thing?
What do you mean there was no floor? So it was just like the boards and it wasn't filled in yet, or it was just like a hole?
Doreen, please put in the chat because the way I pictured it was dirt, but it couldn't be dirt because it's on a foundation. So it was probably concrete. But this is when the market was just insane. And there was a line of people out the door, and I think they had already had like 20 or 30 offers on it. So, and it wasn't like it was in the middle of construction. It was an old ass house with no floor. But that's not the craziest thing. I think it was the roaches. There were some roaches in this house, and our clients most of our clients become friends. So they said that, yeah, we were just admiring how professional you were because we could tell you were afraid and you were just standing in one spot. And like everything they did, they opened the dishwasher, there were roaches in it. And I was like, I can't tuck my pants into my socks because then that's going to, I mean, I would have protested if they want to write an offer on that house, but that's the freakiest thing that I've ever experienced.
Oh, that's disgusting. All right.
Yeah.
So my little TikTok Chinese spy works super hard for me. Like he's always feeding me content that I need at the right time. That being said, he sent me this little video on my For You page and I was dying laughing. Why are you cracking up? But I almost say.
No, really quick. I looked at the chat. Kendall said, when that client tried to seduce you, that was the freakiest thing. I got roofied or I got drugged.
At the client's house?
Yeah. So I had an appointment and with her to sign a listing agreement. So I get there and the lights are off. She has candles going and there's like 2 glasses of wine on the table. So I'm like, all right, I got to get this signed. So I drank the wine and then I started getting woozy.
No.
I guess she
Where
didn't put
was
enough
it? In Vegas or Denver?
In Vegas.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I started getting woozy. Thankfully, I'm as big as I am. I don't think she hit me with the correct dosage. But she was like showing me there was this record with all this pornographic content on it, and she had a sex lounge chair in the corner. Yeah, we affectionately call her Bill Cosby. And Doreen like made fun of me, but I had to call Doreen and keep her on the phone while I was driving home because I was kind of out of it.
That's
So,
crazy.
yeah, thank you, Kendall.
That is funny. I mean, it's a funny story now, but that's very scary.
Yeah, she tried to take my cocktail fruit. So
She's
it's
like, come here, sexual chocolate.
But I sold the house and Doreen represented the buyer. So yay, win-win.
Oh, wow. That is crazy. I don't know. Go like doing jobs like that with like having to deal with people in their homes always scares me. My sister was a social worker and she just dealt with a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, not compared to, she wasn't getting drugged or anything, but she dealt with a lot of crazy. But anyhow, so like I was saying, my little Chinese spy sent me and was working overtime for me and sent me this video. I was dying laughing because I'm like, oh, how appropriate. We're going to have Dimitri on the show and I want to see what he thinks. So let's get into it.
So it's time I show you my bathroom, which I believe is the smallest bathroom in New York City. If it is not the smallest bathroom in New York City, I would like you to show me the smallest bathroom in New York City. Because I personally haven't seen Haven't seen another one. Hold on. I'm making heart-shaped pasta. Not for anyone, but I am feeling love because I'm about to live in a bathroom that is, well, you'll see. So, you walk in to the establishment. Oh, normal bathroom, right? Normal bathroom, place to hang. That did come with the apartment. We have this nice shower curtain. It's from Urban Outfitters. We have this area where I keep my toothbrush. You'll see why in a moment. Then we have this great bath mat from Amazon. I am stepping on it with my outside shoes. And then if you're thinking, this is great, where's the sink? Totally. What's great about this is you don't have to turn on the sink and turn on the toilet in two separate actions. It actually is the same action. And if you're thinking, what if I want to flush the toilet, but I don't want to turn on the sink? Well, that's not an option. That's not an option that you have. What if I want to turn on this, I think it's big in Japan. And is environmentally friendly. New apartment has a sink though, so, wealth comes out your
Your face. Okay, now let's go through some of the comments because videos like this, I have been trained by people to go look at the comments, and these did not disappoint.
Okay, so
Okay,
far
so-
related to. Oh, you mean their comments? Okay,
Their
let me
comments,
sit back
yeah.
and
So
listen.
Zillow jumped into action. They were the first ones on there, and they wrote the gasp I gasped, which is fucking hilarious. And then somebody wrote engaging with this so that you can afford to move out. Then we have the soilets would be my final straw after a long
the
day. And then somebody wrote straddling a toilet backwards to wash my face would make me cry every day. Yeah, it would.
That's
and
efficient, though.
Pardon?
That's efficient.
That's efficient. And then someone wrote, I'd be consistently convinced that the sink water is toilet water. Me too. I'd be like, this is caca water. I cannot do it. I cannot. And then someone wrote, I would just be brushing my teeth in the kitchen. That's exactly what I would be doing. Somebody wrote, call the police. Then we have the only time I've seen a toilet sink combo like that was when I was in prison or when I was in jail. That one made me holler as well too. And then someone was like, is that even legal? Then we have imagine coming home after a terrible day and having using that toilet / sink. Then somebody wrote, I actually don't mind having the sink in the toilet, but being activated by the flush is crazy. I'm
That's the
sorry,
worst
both
part.
are crazy. Both are gross. I don't want my sink on my toilet. And then somebody wrote, my germaphobe self is quaking. That is me. I would die. And then I think the last comment is Uno. Well, there's plenty of more, but I stopped it after that. So Uno jumped into the chat and they wrote, you win, bestie.
Well, some of our viewers had some stuff to say. Amanda said that's wild. And then James said, when I did construction, the kitchens were always the absolute worst. That was the bathroom, James. So, yeah. Adam said, RVs even have a better situation.
Yeah, they do. Have you seen some of those RVs now? They're freaking gorgeous.
So, Bill Cosby roofied me, right? I had another listing in that same neighborhood, and these people had not an Airstream Queen Airstream, but like the Mercedes one, like the big. It looks like like the big vans, the Sprinters.
Okay.
So I commented on it, and the lady was like, "Oh, you want to see the inside?" I'm like, I'm good. I'm just taking pictures for my listing.
Not in this hood.
She and her husband insisted. So I go look inside the RV, and she's like, baby, show him the bed. So he hits the button and the slider goes out. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's nice. And then they give me some pralines. I'm walking through this RV eating pralines. And when you open the refrigerator to give me wine, I was like, you know what? I don't want to impose anymore. The last time I had wine in that neighborhood, I almost got my manhood taken. So I got off got out of the RV, and that was that.
Oh my
yes,
God. The pralines were probably drugged too. You would have gotten woozy after eating the
they were
whoopie.
good though. They were from Costco.
Oh, Costco. I love that store so much. All right. What else do we have going on in the chat?
Let me see. Michelle said my bathroom is a square foot bigger, so I have a real sick.
Well, I think she meant sink.
Oh, sink. Oh, I was like, ooh,
And it-
little bathrooms make you sick. Candace, that's a
Little bathrooms make me
SRV
sick.
dog.
That's gross. I would not be able to straddle that fucking toilet to brush my teeth and wash my face. I'm out.
Chappie said an old blown out meth lab RV in New Mexico would be more comfortable.
The Breaking
Yeah.
Bad RV is better than that sink.
Pimo's pralines.
Oh no. Oh no, there's a new freaking commercial coming for that. I know it. All right. So
Tomorrow.
I just thought that was freaking hilarious, that toilet scene, because I just wouldn't. I don't even know why she signed that lease.
Well, the thing is, like a lot of the rest of the world hates America because they think we have all these big open spaces and we're wasteful. And they should show that video to people in other countries, show it to the Taliban, and they wouldn't be mad anymore because they would feel sorry for us.
Let me tell you, even Shanghai Shu, which is Red Book, I finally gave in and signed into it. And let me tell you, for a communist country, these Chinese have some really nice places. Like, they are living very luxurious, very nice, and they would die looking at that little soilet, or what did you call it?
I called it a tink.
A tink.
So,
I think I like tink better. It has a ring to it. Okay, Poppy. So let's go into a quick commercial break. And then we are going to roll into why you joined me on this show today.
okay.
Ooh, you see, I can't fire Marissa. I need her help. Let's get into this.
You should demote.
It's break time. How exciting, we'll be back soon. Don't get too frantic. Don't be hating here, shopping. I know, but stick around. We'll be back to fuck up the show.
All right. So today we are going to talk about D cups. For some reason, though, why can I not get the volume? Oh, there we go.
She can make anything that you can think.
Let's start this over.
Shoes. I knew that would get your attention on this show. Check out the Mad Hatter. You hit the lights, and he comes to life. Doreen is so creative, she can make anything that you can think of. The ships and the lightsabers on this cup, she made them by hand. Only a crazy person would use this many stones on a duck. She turned this into this, and everything is handcrafted, so it's quality. She made his mask in like 3 hours for his video shoot. You can come by and make stuff yourself, or you can go to the website and have her make everything for you.
At Teacup Customs, you get the best. No sublimation, no factory press.
And she does some really incredible cups. I such a slacker. I keep telling her I'm going to send her the logo and stuff for it, because I'm going to order a cup for Marissa and me. I hate it here cup, so I have to send her our logo. But I tap into her lives all the time and sexually harass her while she's making this. But I try to be careful because I don't want her to get in trouble, because TikTok is very strict.
She'll be all right.
But she does some really amazing stuff. Like, it's fascinating
Well,
to
thank
just
you.
sit there and watch her make it.
Thank you. And I'm sorry I had to give you that ad because I'm working on a new one, but I have to give it to Kaleo first because we actually have a partnership with Kaleo and the WRSE crew. So
All right. And will you let people know who Kaleo is, who are not a part of the community?
yeah. So Kaleo, he is a member of the Beehive, probably arguably the most creative, talented person in the Beehive because he's a music producer. He has his live stream / podcast. He writes songs. He records songs. He's someone that I look up to. So you can find them at WRSE on, just search that in YouTube, and it's a great show. He's what got us started. He inspired us to do our live stream.
Yep, and he actually is a sneakerhead.
Yep, he almost got me back into that because I'm a retired sneakerhead, and I
So
just don't have the
I
heart to
have
do it anymore.
my nephew is starting to get into sneakers and stuff like that. So I turned him on to Kaleo's show, and he's like totally fascinated with all the sneaker talk on it. But yes, and for those who are wondering, the Beehive is what I guess we're like the what we call the community that tune into the
Yeah,
Kendall B
Kendall's
show.
followers.
Kendall's followers, yes.
He's like David Koresh, and then we're like the Branch Davidians, but
Yes,
we
but
call
we're not
ourselves the Beehive.
but we're not like Beyonce's Beehive. We're like the D Squad Beehive.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So we're like a defunct beehive. So do not think that when we mention the Beehive, we're not mentioning beautiful, gorgeous, talented Beyonce. Even though Kendall is beautiful and gorgeous, we are not that Beehive. They would
But
kick
we
us
are better
out.
than y'all. The Beehive is better than people that aren't in the Beehive. Just to get that straight.
All right, Poppy. So let's get into why you actually are on the show. We invited you here because you have stories for days, right?
Mhm.
So I've gotten to know you, and we've hung out in person a couple of times already. Your story, like you are endless supply of stories. When we were out having dinner in Denver, you started talking about your different work stories. And I was like, hey, I know a show that you could probably tap into and call and vent about this stuff. And since then, we were trying to figure out a date, and it just so happened to be today. So let's get into your workplace horror story.
Yeah, and I wanted to start from the beginning, like the Navy, but I was like, this would be like a 5-hour show if I did the entire thing. So we're gonna start with CenturyLink because when I got out of the Navy, it was actually Quest back then. So I got this job, and it was like a specialized technician. And the crazy thing was, I was 24 years old, but everyone in my group, the majority had been with the company for like 30 years. So this isn't a position that just a random 24-year-old will walk into. And I guess the leadership had to explain that, oh, he's really smart, he'll pick it up, blah, blah, blah. Because everyone kept telling me, like, oh, we've heard how smart you are. And I'm like, and I'm thinking in the back of my mind, like, why would I not be smart? But I was on.
You see, me, in back of my mind, I would have been like, who fucking lied to you guys? Like, I'm such a great actress that you guys think this.
Yeah, so anyway, I started picking this stuff up really quick. And then like the tech support people tasked me with helping other people that had been there forever. And there was one thing I didn't know one time, and I asked the person, and he gave me the wrong information. And that's when I stopped asking people for help with anything. So fast forward 9 months, I got promoted to another group that was the same level as the group I was in, but a different product. So now I'm a manager, and I go to this new group, but I take a shot at the guy who set me up and told him in my go away email, hey, Terry, wake your ass up and do your job, and put ha 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 after it. And I left. So I get to the new group. And again, now I'm 25,
But you're
but
still in the same company. You just moved to like a different group, and you're taking shots at him like this.
yeah, because
Like
what
it,
he's gonna do?
okay.
Yeah. So now I'm 25, but these people have been in the company for 30 years. And they're a horrible team. And I'm trying to make this quick. Through some threats and stuff that I wasn't allowed to do, that I learned working in a union shop is different than being in the military. We turned the group around. The group was great. Then they decided to move that work to Denver. And that's how I ended up in Denver. But when
Okay.
I got to Denver, they took that team away from me and gave it to this guy whose mom was like a VP in that organization.
A Nepo baby.
Yep. So he gets this group that I've essentially built from the ground up. And they give me a shitty product, and that group is shitty too. So I start to turn that group around through some of the same threats I was told not to do. But after we get to a certain point, the team starts like taking my personality. So we're like just doing crazy numbers, and they're talking shit to all the other groups.
No.
Just like yeah, because and
It's
not to
become like
get
a
too
boiler room situation.
yeah,
You guys are just
and
mad, like
yeah,
selling like
but
mad and just talking crazy shit.
well, this is all like tech repair stuff. So they're going around talking shit. I'm going around talking shit. And the way the numbers worked out, I cut our bogey, our mean time to repair, in half. We were doing so good that I got investigated for falsifying documents. Yep. So once they found out that I wasn't falsifying documents, that I was just good at what I did, they changed the rules and said that I couldn't push that hard to meet those numbers, that I had to stay within the guidelines that were set before. So it felt like I was falling for the okey doke, but I mean, I didn't see it that way back then. I just felt like, okay, they were being unfair, blah, blah, blah. And they gave me another shitty group in the
Why did they
provisioning
take
role.
the other group away?
Another guy came in who was the guy who took my other group. It was like one of his best friends. So now he
Oh,
has my other group, and I get sent up to provisioning because that's repair, where you're fixing stuff that has already been installed. So now I have a team that installs. And this director that I worked for was an asshole. But I think he knew the way that he knew how to push me because he knew how competitive I was. So now I'm at the top product in the company, or one of the top products, and I'm killing it. And I'm talking shit again. We walk
how
into
many years now are you into this company?
I think 6.
Oh shit! You stayed there for 6 years, even after
I,
all this nonsense.
I stayed there for 15.
Oh, oh shoot. Okay, I
So
would have
yeah,
been out after they fucking took that. They were trying to like. Once I would have
but
proved that I was not falsifying papers, I would have been like, I'm out.
yeah, but where was I gonna go? I mean, I was
The
comfortable with
competition.
with the friends that I had, because my team, once the older people started to phase out a little and younger people were in, it was my team, and they were just like me. They were cocky, they were talking shit. Like I would go into the afternoon staff meetings like, okay, who's coming in second today? And every day I would say that, and every day I would be right. So once it was time for that director to be promoted, everyone started congratulating me, like, you're going to be a great area manager, blah, blah, blah. And once he got promoted, he decided to keep both jobs, just like on Horrible Bosses. Remember that scene when
Yeah.
that's what happened? So I've done all this stuff that probably shouldn't have been done or couldn't have been done by somebody who wasn't me. And there's a bunch of details in it which would take us so deep into time constraints that it's not funny. But once that happened, it took all the wind out my sails. I asked to go to a dispatch job because it was at night and I didn't want people bothering me. And that team was doing really well, but I was finding bullshit that the people we supported were doing that made my numbers not as good as they could be. So once I
Okay.
started calling them out, then I started
Was it
getting
because they
attacked.
were lazy or because they were doing it to kind of fuck you over?
It's because they were lazy.
Okay.
And a part that I skipped was once I went to provisioning, they also gave me responsibility to be the GPS administrator. So I could see every truck in the company and see how long they stayed at the place, where they were.
Okay.
One time I found a congregation of trucks at IHOP, and they were just there hanging out in the morning. And I'm like, okay, if we're there for 2 hours in the morning, it's going to affect the rest of your day. And I sent it to the people I need to send it to, and they addressed it, but things just continued to get worse for me.
Because you're
And
ratting them out. They're probably at your home cutting your fucking Century Link off.
well, because the thing is, it affected my numbers. So
Huh?
I'm going to get yelled at for not producing, or am I going to show why I'm not producing? So of course, they brought people in to like audit everything we were doing, and they would sit with my people. Well, why would you do that like this? And they would explain because we have this map, and they couldn't find anything wrong. So the feedback I got the next day was Tim, like one of my people, he wasn't sitting up straight in his chair when he was talking to the supervisor and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, who is he, the fucking Pope? Why would he have to? I mean, he's comfortable doing his job. Is
He
this the
wasn't
only
sitting
thing you guys?
straight. Like what? What does that
Yeah.
have to do with anything?
Absolutely nothing. So then they started lying about not receiving certain things in the morning that my team would send out every night. So one day I told my morning colleague, I was like, look, when they ask you to send it, don't send it. So she didn't. And I asked her on the call, I'm like, hey, Justin, did you get the printouts? He was like, yeah, I have them right here. So I told my director, I'm like, hey, how did he get them if no one sent them if he didn't already have them? And no one will ever have my back. So Justin and I almost got into a fight. He called me out and I was like, are you in the garage? He said, yeah, I'm in the garage. And I was like, I'll be right there. So
You're
I'm
like,
at
meet
the
me
elevator.
on the southwest corner because the cameras don't hit at that corner. You
I
and
ain't
I
give a
are
fuck
gonna
about cameras. And then my director comes running around the corner. Look, you can't go down there. And it's just all that stuff happened. And it gets me to this point. I had an employee who was falsifying time cards. And I
Oh.
missed it for a while. But when I caught it, I addressed it.
Mhm.
And I told my director, and I had all the documentation. And she pretended like she had a stroke so she wouldn't have to face the consequences. So when she
Wait, what do you
came,
mean she pretended to have a stroke? Like a real stroke? Like
yeah. So
she how
I
do you
told her, I was
fake
like, look,
that?
I was like, have your union rep meet with you or have your union rep ready tomorrow. We need to have a meeting to discuss all this because there's no steps to stealing. We don't need to do a verbal than a documented discussion. You're fucking stealing. So just have your union rep. And then someone called in the next morning and said that she had a stroke. But later that day, someone saw her getting her nails done. So she was gone for like 3 months. And when she came back, I was still
No.
ready to go with the documentation and stuff. And he said to leave it alone. And I'm like, dude, you preach all this documentation or monthlies or
Mhm.
everything. And I have this and you're saying leave it alone. And that's when I decided to quit. But when I quit, like within that 2-week period, I took all of the like reviews I had for them and I shredded them. Because I'm like, you guys have fucked me over enough. I'm not going to do all this work. Then as soon as I leave, you have somebody else come in looking like they're Kobe and they're an all-star. Now you have to start this shit from scratch. So I shredded every like
I
for
love
a
it.
3-year period. Yeah, all that stuff was gone. And that
I
was my
well
workplace horror story from CenturyLink.
that's awesome that you did go in there and shred that shit because fuck them. But for some reason, I don't know why I thought you would have done something pettier.
Um,
I don't know why I don't know. I'm just thinking that you would have got in there, like messed with the systems. Maybe you did and you can't talk about it, right? Which
I
that's
didn't,
what I'm gonna
but
pretend.
in that first job I was telling you about when I was a technician, if they
Uh-huh.
were going to fire somebody, they would have security come to the desk before you knew it. Because if you hit like a certain 3-character code, you could shut down the entire city. So yeah, I could have, but I didn't.
Well, good for you, because I probably would have wrecked some shit. Which maybe is why with corporate they're like, when I thought I was jumping on for my 1-year review, and they're like, "We're actually terming your position." I was like, "What?"
Mm.
And your last day today because they're like, I had control over too many things, and I really hated my boss at the time. And I don't know. I want to pretend I'm a better person and would have just wrapped stuff up for them. But then again, petty me, I would have gone in there and just really caused some havoc because I was the only one who was like the admin for a lot of the necessary stuff. But I see in the chat that Michelle put they saw your talent and exploited it. Absolutely. And Marissa's in the chat. She wrote, I would have been out after Nepo Baby took my team. I've never liked people that much in my job to stay ever. I truly wish she would have been on today because she got so fucked over at corporate. I talking about it makes me so fucking angry for her. And I know that she's kind of let some of it go, but it still makes me so fucking angry because the responsibilities and the things that she did for her team because her boss was a complete incompetent idiot. And she was always picking up the, all the projects, had 1,000 plates going in the air at all times, was continually pulled into meetings that were way above her pay level. Like, and it never got the credit for it. And it infuriates me to this day how mistreated she was in that company.
Well,
And
another thing is, since it was a union shop,
mhm,
like they would have their contract negotiations. And I'm just sitting there trying to do my job. I come back to my desk and there's like a stack of rocks on my desk because it was like something that the union was doing to mess with managers. So I went to Taco Bell
stack
and
of
I got
rocks. What is that supposed to insinuate? Is it like a fish head?
no, it was like a
Like a
solidarity thing with the
oh,
union and they were on all of our desk. So I went to Taco Bell and got a stack of applications
mhm.
and I put them on everybody's desk. And I think I yelled out, "Attention, if you don't like it here, you can leave." I left applications on your desk. So the union came after me. And this is the one time that asshole director protected me. He was like, "Well, they put the stuff on his desk first. If you can't take it, don't dish it." And then they left me alone after that. But yeah, it's yeah, I hate that place.
My best friend, my Mo, who lives in San Diego, was in this shit job as well, and she convinced everybody on her team to start like I don't know how she's got magical powers that one, but she convinced everybody on her team because they were like mistreated pretty bad because the manager was, one of those crazy managers.
Mhm.
That again was also not a nepo baby, but a friend of a friend that got put into that position. So she somehow started convincing everybody to leave that job, was like job hunting for people, like being because she at this point she was living in Arizona and she was gonna move to San Diego. So she's like, fuck it, I have nothing to lose with this company. So she started finding jobs for everybody slowly, like the team starts leaving. So that was
That's
her
actually
vengeance. I'm
awesome.
like, good for you, because I would not. I'd be trying to find myself a job. She's like, I mean, I didn't know where to look. Like, she had to finish, like, she had stuff to do in San Diego before she actually started job hunting. But look at her. She got all these people out of that department.
Yep. Well, once I left there, I went to a startup. It was still in telecom, and I was so
Startups.
happy there. But we were doing so well that Vonage bought us, and they bought a whole bunch of other companies. So they
Mm.
bought a company that looked just like ours, just a little bigger. So my counterpart ended up being my supervisor. And I'm like, "Look,
Oh,
dude, I just want to do my job, help the team out. Whatever happens, happens." So I give him a proposal, and he's like, "I don't think they're going to go for this." And 2 weeks later, he's getting a pat on the back for using my proposal. And that's when I left telecom,
stop.
period. Yep.
S- Stop. Well, that almost happened to me at corporate, as a matter of fact. Because when we first moved to corporate, um, there was like no specific like roles between a couple of us, right?
Mhm.
And that was Marissa, and I will call her mullet
Gentry.
head. No, I will call her mullet head. Because she had a mullet, which is wild. So mullet head and myself. And Marissa quickly jumped into ops because she was doing a lot of stuff to get the state up and running. They took her in, so she left that position. And then my counterpart got moved into another like role, but she was kind of like still over marketing for the state. So I kind of had to report to her. She got it just because she knew, or she had a better relationship with our state VP who pushed for her to get that position, right?
Mhm.
And she didn't know, like, her form of marketing is like, let's make a flyer, like very retro, very 80s, very like, we're now in 20 at that point 2019, like, get with it, lady. But I started working on, so we did like a go to market plan, did that, it was pretty successful for the state. Then I started working on a like a retention type of like marketing plan
Mhm.
for the state, which is what landed me in. I mean, at that point, we were a super startup. So our central team wasn't that large. But instead of doing marketing just for the state of Texas, I got pulled into the central team. But she knew I was working on this plan, never once asked me, like, what do you need from me? Like, was never supportive about what I was doing, never asked any questions, was just like, whatever. Like, I need you. Like, she treated me like I was her fucking assistant.
Mhm.
Like, I need you to order food for this event, or I need you to submit this expense. And I'd be like, lady, what are you talking about? Right. So, anyhow, once she noticed, or people started talking about this marketing plan that I was doing, and it started getting noticed, she started trying to take it in as her own and was
Mm.
like, "Oh, Erika, you need to tell me about this." I'm like, "No, I don't. I do not need to tell you about this. You've had months to ask me about it. And just now that you're getting asked about it, do you care?" I'm like, now that you know it's getting like eyes on it, she fucking took me into a conference room and like went at me. As a matter of fact, she was supposed to take me into that conference room to tell me that I was getting pulled from underneath her and moving into central marketing, like more into like the corporate versus just like a state, or into national marketing, I should say, versus just a state.
Mhm.
And she, that's what the conversation was supposed to be about. Instead, she sat there and tried to rip me a new one because I fought back, um, trying to tell me that she was the boss. So this was her plan, not
Mm.
mine, because it was under her department. It was the craziest thing. I have never yelled at a boss like that. I have never, and you know what? I'm a real, I know I talk a lot of shit here on the show, guys. But in real life, I'm kind of a pushover. I don't, I like, it takes a lot for me to speak up for myself. Like an injustice for somebody else, I'm the first one like saying, fuck that, treat this person better.
Mhm.
Like you're doing wrong by this person. But when it comes to myself, I am not a big advocate for myself. I
I
have an issue with that.
I know what can help you with that. Just when you feel like you need to, when you need to be that person, just turn and look and be like, "Who the fuck you think you're talking to?" And that stops people. You would be surprised how quickly it will stop somebody from trying to get into that space with you.
Yeah. So I actually rose to the occasion. I stood up for myself. There was a lot of yelling. The whole office stopped. It was like a needle on the record type of thing. But it took a lot for me to say something. But I I'm not okay with stealing people's work. That is not something I would ever do to anybody that I work with. I'm always giving people props and credit for their part. So I don't, it's,
Yeah,
I don't know. Corporate is so fucking crazy.
yeah, and
Corporate
it
world.
sucks because he knew he had screwed up when I gave him my resignation letter. He was like, "I don't know why you want to burn bridges and blah blah blah." I'm like, "Well, because you're stealing. So yeah, you can copy what I put, but let's see you execute it." And within like 2 months, he wasn't in that position anymore.
But is he still at the company?
I don't think so.
Oh, you see, unfortunately, in my career, all these freaking, Marissa and I call them cockroaches because you know how like they say like it'll be scorched earth, but the cockroaches will survive.
Yeah, I do live in Houston, so
Shut up. You're why I like I set that one up for you. I said it.
thank
I
you,
perfectly. That was a perfect pitch for you.
thank
And
you.
I didn't mean that. But these cockroaches in the last two like companies that I've worked for are still there. I don't understand it. And not only are they still there, like some of them have moved up into these
Mhm.
positions that I'm just like, what? Like they keep falling up. And
Yeah,
I just don't understand how or why.
look at you quoting Michelle Obama,
What?
falling up. I think she said felling up or something, but yeah,
Oh, no, no. We always say well, Marissa and I talk about it a lot. Like you'll hear it in different shows. People fall, like they just fall into these positions and they just keep rising up, even though they're completely incompetent. And I don't get it because I see amazing hard workers um, that just keep leaving these companies because they just keep getting used. I don't know. Maybe it's, what are they, weaponized incompetence that we're not doing.
well, again, I was in a union place, and I'm not bashing unions. I used to hate unions when I was in it for that first 9 months because
Mhm.
I could have been fired just because I was 24, not because I wasn't doing my job. So you'll see a lot of those employees, once they get to a certain level, they don't do anything. Like I had an uncle that worked for GM, and he used to just go to work and watch TV all day. And he was like losing his mind. He went to work one day or was leaving and didn't put his pants on. My aunt had to tell him, "Hey, you need to." So they're just retired in place. And that's why I think that's what you're talking about. And at certain points, it's either you have to let them go or promote them. But when you haven't been managing them, you can't let them go. So you have to do something with them. And that's what happens a lot of times.
Do you just move them to a different department just to get them out of your hair, and then they just
This asshole, I shouldn't call him an asshole because he's dead.
who
But
cares? Fuck him. He's an asshole.
yeah, so he was a horrible employee. And I would keep writing him up. But my boss was like, "Why can't you get rid of him?" So I started doing some research. I was like, "He's been with the company 25 years. He used to work for you. Why didn't you get rid of him?" It's not like this started once he reported to me and then she left me alone about it. But I'm like, "You asshole, you had 2 decades to get rid of him. And now it's my responsibility." Let me stop getting worked up with my bourbon.
I know. I'm gonna drink today until what was it? 3 minutes until we hit the 3 minutes before the show went live. Poppy was like, "I'm gonna get my bourbon." I was like, "Oh, I should have gone." So he's like, "Go get bourbon." So I ran and I got my bourbon as well. But yes, it was needed because I did get heated up talking about mullet head as well.
Yeah, I'm
All
hot
right.
every time I
Well, we've
think about
gone
it.
overtime, Poppy. I
We
appreciate
have.
you. We have. I had a life horror story that I wanted to talk about. I know we've gone overtime, but how overtime are you willing to go?
We can go 3 hours if you want, because I'm just sitting here and I'll turn my camera off because I have a little thing that I can. Yeah, I'm here as long as you need me to be here.
Okay, you know what? Because I want to hear what you have to say about this. So, you know what? Let's do a quick switch. We are now going to talk about our life horror story because this story is a little wild and I've been holding on to it for a long time. So, fuck it. We're in overtime and WRSC is not going live today. So,
Yep.
right, they'll be back
That's
in
the
February.
shows
Huh?
that I'm on. We often do that. We go into overtime. So
Yes. All right.
proceed.
So going
We'll
into
do it
overtime.
live. Okay. No, we'll do it live. Fuck it.
That clip never gets old, by the way. I fucking love it. He lost his shit. He totally lost his shit. All right. So let's get into so this is like relationship advice that they're asking. But it's so stupid that okay. So the story starts, "I'm extremely hurt, but to my boyfriend's credit, he was very upfront about everything. He texted me immediately the morning after to tell me everything. My boyfriend, let's call him James, broke up with his girlfriend Winnie about 2 years ago. They chose to stay friends, and this has caused some issues between James and I. Mostly because Winnie just can't get over the breakup. She thinks her and James are soulmates, and she just refuses to accept that he stopped being in love with her."
Mhm.
All right. So I'm already like, James, I can't get into this fucking mess with you with this person, but better for her. Like she likes James, she's going in for it, right?
Mhm.
So a conversation they will very often have is James literally spending hours going over the logic of why he broke up with her. He tries to reassure her since they're still friends and she's hurting. He tries to reassure her since they're still friends and she's hurting. But I have witnessed some of these conversations and he's loving but firm. Okay, so she's now, no, I'm sorry, girl. He's having these long conversations and quote unquote being firm. He shouldn't be having these long conversations.
Marissa said, "Why are they friends with their ex?" Red flags.
But so did Michelle. Did you see all the
Mhm.
little red flags?
Yep.
Okay. Oh shit, I already lost my place. I suspect some of you will say there's still something going on, but there really isn't. James is definitely over her. James and I moved in together 2 weeks ago, and this has caused Winnie to be worse than ever. Like she relapsed with depression, and the crying fits, they're happening consistently again.
Wait a minute. He moved back in with her?
No, he moved in with a girl who's writing in
Oh,
about this
okay.
story. They've been
Okay.
they've moved in for 2 weeks, but now Winnie is in a she's crashing out, as the kids nowadays say. She's spiraling and
Mhm.
in a depression and crying and trying to get attention, right? I went back to my parents' place this weekend because I had to pack my car full of some more of my things, and I spent Saturday night there. Winnie must have known this because Saturday night she showed up at our place. Crying, wailing, the works. We have a doorbell camera, and I got a notification as soon as she was at the door. I didn't see it right away, but as soon as I saw it, I texted and called James and checked our indoor camera to see what was going on. This is where James messed up, and he admits he messed up. He didn't text me the whole night while Winnie was there. So he knows that the girlfriend knows that Winnie's up in there.
Mhm.
She's calling him and texting him, and he's like, nope, phone down. Notifications off.
I get it.
Wild shit. I didn't see it right away, but as soon as hold on. Oh, so all I know is that she showed up. I checked our indoor camera. We keep it in the living room by the front door, and it was turned off. So he turned off the fucking camera.
Oh.
This is normal. We only turn it on when we're away from home. But I was extremely upset and distraught as I was imagining the worst. I trust James, but I just don't understand why he wouldn't answer my calls, and he admits it was horrible of him. I was ready to break up with him Sunday morning, but he texted me and immediately let me know that Winnie had come over. But a whole fucking night has gone through that he hasn't texted.
James is a dick. I would
James,
yeah, oh my, yeah, go ahead. If there's more, finish, because I'm
there is
still
more. There is more. I don't want to believe him, but he said nothing happened. He set up our indoor camera in the bedroom to prove it. Okay. I didn't want to believe him, but I did watch the footage. And even though it shows both of them laying in bed, it's true that Winnie was just crying while James was consoling her. There are some things that he did not that he did that bother me a lot. At some point, he kissed her forehead and he hugged her and held her close several times. I'm honestly speechless at that, but I understand he knew there was a camera on him the whole time, and he knew I would see him doing that. So I guess he doesn't see that as cheating. So basically, James is asking me for understanding and for forgiveness. I have proof that nothing happened, but I'm still hurt. This isn't how I imagined us starting our new life together. What are the healthy next steps for our relationship?
for her to leave, because
Girl,
the forehead kiss, yeah, if somebody is getting a forehead kiss, there's something deeper going on. And
you
the
have
reason
some,
that he did all that stuff on camera is because he knew the camera was there. So he could be like lightly affectionate, but there's been other instances when there were no cameras around and he was smashing. And that's why she won't leave him alone. Winnie is crazy too. They're both crazy.
Winnie's a fucking nut job. The fact, okay, first red flag is that she's around and doing all this nonsense, and he's on the phone with her for hours consoling her before you even move in. But you're fucking, it must be some good dick.
I wouldn't know. I've never had any
Must be,
good
then
penis,
in your
but
case, good punani. I don't know. For her to stay, right? So
not
she
to,
stayed.
yeah.
They
I don't know
move
if
in.
oof.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. You have your ex-girlfriend in my bed, in our bed. Murder. I'm sorry, murder.
And justified. Actually, I would have like boarded up the doors and set the house on fire. Like when Homer trapped all the people in the nuclear power plant. It's there's definitely something more going on because you don't treat exes like that. or you don't have
No.
those type of interactions with them. They're exes for a reason. But somebody, was it Adam that said, no, it was Michelle. He's keeping her on the roster. It's
Absolutely.
yeah, he's a backup plan. Yeah, it's a spare tire. And nobody who is in a committed relationship, at least in my opinion, is
Mhm.
going to do anything outwardly like that. If you're going to do dirt, it's going to be dirt. But I think he wants her to feel comfortable enough with, look, I'm just consoling her. She's emotional. She's not stable. This is all I'm doing. You saw me on camera. But yeah,
I would have been
when
like,
you
you're not stable. You've got emotional issues. This girl, those flags were there from the beginning.
Mhm,
I This is all like at this point, I think self-induced. She knew this was like he was still giving her so much attention. How pissed would you be if you're with like you and Doreen were still dating
mhm.
and she's on the phone while you're there with her for hours consoling her ex? No,
That
get the
would,
fuck out of here. That's not
yeah.
happening.
The only person that's allowed to have those type of conversations and that long is Gentry. As you can see how she just rudely called at the beginning of the show. But other than that, no, it wouldn't. Yeah, there's still definitely something going on with them. And that's why Winnie can't let him go. And he doesn't want her
Absolutely.
to let him go.
Oh no, he loves it. This is all about whether he's into her like physically or still maybe he doesn't love her, right? But it's all ego boosting right now at this point.
Yeah, when you can have on-demand ass from somebody you're not supposed to have on-demand ass from, then that's probably even more of an ego boost. Like he could call
Yeah, or
up
you
at
have somebody telling you like, "I love you," like, "Yeah, I'm still in love with you. I need you," or whatever nonsense Winnie's saying, right? And
Mhm.
he's just sitting there gobbling it up.
Yep,
Are
and she's that
you?
call that he can make it 3:45 AM, and she's going to accept it and say, "Come over."
Mhm.
So, yeah, there's something wrong with both of them, and
And
that
and
lady should
something
kill
wrong with
him.
the person who wrote in. Like, have a little self-respect for yourself.
Yeah, at least fuck him up.
At least have are you how friendly are you with any exes? I mean, you and Doreen have been together a very long time. So,
Mhm.
it's
One,
what like probably 15, 20 years that you've had an ex.
almost 20 years that we've been together,
Yeah.
and the funny thing is the ex that and we're not super friendly, we chat back and forth, and she and Doreen, they will crack jokes with each other, but it was my very first girlfriend from how old
Okay.
was I? Like 15? And we had a decent little high school relationship.
Mhm.
But other than that, I don't speak to any exes.
I mean, don't get me wrong, like the two major like loves of my life like were complete cheaters and assholes, right? So like fuck them.
Mhm,
And I don't talk to them. All my other relationships that ended, like they were not as bad as those two. But I
mhm,
am not if I see like I mean, granted, I'm not in the areas that they live in, so I'm never gonna bump into them. But
mhm.
if I were to, it'd be like, "Hey, how are you? Great, blah blah blah." But am I in touch with any of these people? No, I'm not.
Well, I've only had like 3 real relationships. It was, the person I just told you about, my
Mhm.
ex-wife, and Doreen. I mean, of course, there was stuff in the middle to where the streets were calling, but other than that, I've only had 3 serious relationships. So
Okay.
and there's the one ex that I was married to that we just don't there's no reason to talk to each other.
You see, and I don't expect my partner to be like hating or I would it would look bad on that person to talk terribly about their ex, right?
Mhm,
Unless they did something completely horrific.
mhm,
But like bringing it up all the time, like granted, the two that did me wrong and dirty, extremely terrible. But I don't talk about it nonstop. I just say like, fuck those people. I don't ever like. I hope they have a rotten, horrible life for what they
mhm.
did. But I'm not talking about them consistently. The others, I'm just like, okay, well, like I dated, whatever, move on. But I don't. I don't know. I don't. I wouldn't want my partner talking badly about all his partners either. You know what I mean? Like there's,
Yeah.
you know
Because
what I'm
if you're
trying to
doing
say?
that,
Because
if
then you're
there's
like,
something wrong with everyone, if you have something negative to say about everybody, maybe you're the problem. So
maybe.
yeah, everyone can't be wrong. All these people are no longer in a relationship with you. And what's the common denominator is you. So
Yeah.
if you're, yeah,
So I don't want like so there's a fine line, right? Like I don't want to date somebody who's besties with their fucking ex-girlfriends and have them still on their like social media also. Like scrub
yeah,
that shit. Once we're in a relationship, I don't want to see any trace of that. Like I'm sorry, I just don't. I don't.
yeah. And
Um
yeah, I don't, Doreen can get into any of my devices. She knows all my passwords. She knows the pins. So she can access whatever she wants to access. I mean, she always accuses me of flirting anyway, but it's harmless flirting. It's just I like titties. But other than that, there's nothing. Yeah,
you love titties.
yeah, and then she could come in here right now and get my phone and look through it, and I'm comfortable with it because she's not going to find what a normal angry wife is looking for.
Mhm.
And I mean, she's going to see some titty pictures, but they're like community titty pictures the daydreamer sent to me. So it's not like I'm even
Like
searching
when you
for them.
asked us for Renaissance fair titty pics.
Yeah, and you sent them to me.
I did. I did. Yeah, we were working hard, Gentry and I, while we were out there.
Yes, I'm
But
not a
hold on.
villain.
So I'm like, I'm the same way. Like I'll give you access to I have nothing to hide.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I'm not out there finding trouble.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on in the chat. What are people talking about? Me. Let's see. Helen Butts wrote, me over here quiet because I'm friends with every guy I've dated. Well, with guys I've dated. Not every guy, but Helen, I say every because I'm giving you a hard time for that. Because Helen likes keeping friends, like she likes keeping tabs on these mofos, and I'm like, we're good, sir.
Yeah, I
It
don't
was
have a
fun.
need to be friends with them.
Exactly. Like I hope you have except those two. I hope you have a blessed life. I hope you get everything you wanted, but I don't need to keep tabs. I don't need to
Dor-
know about your everyday life.
Doreen said Winnie is kind of a cute name though.
Because you think Winnie, and I automatically think the Wonder Years.
Well, she's thinking Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, Winnie the Pooh.
I know
It's
she
not
is. And Amanda, tell Edmund to text me tonight and we'll start a group chat with Daydreamer and some more undisclosed people. So because he is a part of the community. And I'm sure he likes titties too. Every time I say something about titties, you chime in. Edmund said yes, areolas are great. So yeah.
There's a secret titty chat group.
Oh, there's so many different groups.
I know there's a lot of groups, but I'm intrigued with the titty
You
chat
don't
group.
want to be in that group.
I want to be in that one.
That's
All
a
right,
horrible
so
group to be in, even for men.
let's see. Michelle wrote, I have a story like this. I'll share it someday. She will be on, I know she was a guest co-host this Tuesday for you.
Mhm.
And she did an amazing job.
She really did.
She really did, for just being like jumping in last minute and helping you. Like I think she did such an incredible job. But I like I was telling you before we got on air, I'm gonna ask her to come in and give us some dating tips, because she, like Helen, is still out there. Well, not Helen anymore, but like they are about the dating apps. They're all about trying to find that love. And I love their tenacity. So I am dying to hear some of her stories. Amanda says it feeds his ego. Speaking of crazy stories, Amanda remember her show with Aaron?
I do. That was like I felt bad for Edmund. I was like, man, he's right there. Stop saying all that stuff.
Amanda
I think
was
I
for the
said
streets.
yes. So I said Gentry was for the streets, Tusa was for the cobblestones, and Amanda was for the roads. So yeah, I wish I had like popcorn I may go back and find it and listen to it again, because that was prime, like it was
That was
amazing.
great radio. And I even sent her a note. I told her afterwards, I'm like, if you ever want to be on an episode of The Morning After, I would love to have you on. Her stories were so freaking hilarious and so good.
It was kind of like on American Pie when she was like, this one time in band camp, when she hit the part with the flute, we were all just like,
They just kept coming. It was hilarious. And then she writes, I'm friends with my ex, but we don't have any interactions like that. And then Daydreamer writes, I don't know any of my exes still. I've only had one love relationship. Dreamer, you've been with Shanty since you guys were 16. Like, who were you dating before that? Adam's like, I have exes I don't even know are still alive. Same, Adam. I'm just like, I don't even know what happened to that dude. Smoke Buddies wrote, You Live and You Learn. Love his relationship with his wife as well. That was also like made that type of love find me, because the way he loves Meeks is amazing. And I love their love. Let's see. James from Peter wrote, all my exes know what's up. We don't need to stay in touch. I don't need that negativity in my life anymore.
why does
And
Marissa
then
look like a celebrity in her
what?
thumbnail? Look at
So,
Marissa's picture. She looks like
Marissa's gorgeous.
I know she is, but this picture, she looks like somebody. I have to think of it. I'm sorry I interrupted, but
Then Amanda writes, Edmund said he thought she was part of that he was part of the community. Oh, that's when you already touched on that. Let's see. Okay, I think we're done. That was it for the comments.
yeah. So yeah, James from Pedro, we would get you in the titty chat as well.
Dang.
And yeah,
Okay, I don't need to be a part of the entire chat, but can you like send me some like snapshots every once in a while of the titty chat?
that's
Why
bro
not?
code. You can't. Maybe we should do a show on Saturday mornings
On Saturday morning, titty show on Saturday morning.
on
Titty
YouTube.
Saturday.
Yeah. Or Monday. Since Chatty Passenger doesn't have that slot, we could do Mammary Mondays at 5 o'clock.
Mondays.
Let me write that down. I want to make it happen. Okie dokie.
All right. Well, you guys, Dimitri writes down this new idea. I know he's going to go out there and buy the domain as well. He
I
has
might.
like every domain under the sun. I want to take this time to thank you so much. Saturday morning tits. It's what Smoke Buddies wrote.
But
Why
thank you
not?
for having me. It was I was nervous at first, but again, these are all people that we know each other. It's just like we're still
It's like
at
we're
that.
on FaceTime.
Yeah. And we're at the cool kids table in the cafeteria.
Not
It's
the
just
cool kids. And stop saying cool
the
kids. We're the bad
bad
kids. We're the bad detention
Yeah, and all
slackers.
of our bad friends are sitting there with us, just chiming in and and encouraging bad behavior.
I know, I love it. But again, thank you so much, Dimitri. I love you so much. I
Love you
I
too.
tell you that often, and I truly, truly appreciate you. I appreciate our friendship, and that's it. Before I get too mushy, this little black heart has to stay cold.
It has to. That's your thing. So
That's
don't
my thing.
don't let it thaw out because of me. So
No. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Before we sign off, where and how can people who are not in the chat or part of the community and want to follow you on your show, where and how can they follow you?
So on YouTube, I think we're at 3TH Show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our biggest thing right now. I mean, again, I have the domain, but I haven't built the site yet. So yeah, either there or on Instagram, you can go
But
to
when tell them when the show's where the show is on
yeah.
and at what time.
Tuesdays. I almost forgot. Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific or 8 p.m. Central, because Gentry doesn't know any other time zones. And yeah, we try to do it every Tuesday. And so far we're batting 1,000. So except for that 1 week. But yeah, 3TH Show on YouTube and Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific.
Awesome. And every once in a while, you pop on Station Head and you do a show.
Oh yeah, I forgot. So this Friday, and I'm just gonna give you guys like the inside track on it. So we have this college. We have a university called Grand
A
Rising
fake
University.
college.
It's not a fake college. It has a domain,
It's a domain.
but it's not .edu though. It's .com. And just to give you guys, hopefully to entice you to show up, because of all the stuff that's going on politically in the country, I'm having a trial for all of the white fighting hoteps. So we may be cleaning house tomorrow with white people that go to GRU. So just tune in to see how that goes.
This is your version of getting rid of your DEI.
It is. I have the same initials, DT. So we can go head to head. He's orange, I'm black. Orange is the new black. Black is the new orange. So let's just, tomorrow at 11 a.m. after the abstract with Kaleo. Oh, I'm sorry.
Love it.
After the abstract with
Kaleo.
Love it. I'm so looking forward to it. And I was about to say, James from Pedro did a freaking great show today on Station Head. Also very ragey, very fuck the establishment, fuck the government, which kept me totally motivated the entire time I was on the treadmill listening to it. But he did the Kaleo voice on his own, which was amazing. That sound drop that you did.
James has he's a radio guy. So
he is a radio guy. He did a stellar show.
Yeah,
so
I have to go back and listen because I caught the end and he sounded like a white Louis Farrakhan. I was like, damn, I missed the entire show. So I'm going to go back and listen.
Yeah, he did a great show today. But okay, so that's how they can catch you. You all can catch me and Marissa. Will hope you feel better. You were missed. It was weird doing this show without her. As much as I love you, it felt, I'm sure
she and Gentry are together right now.
I think they are. I think they are at a bar and
we didn't miss
having
Gentry
a grand
at all.
old time.
Yeah, Michelle was there. We were like, wow, Michelle is much nicer than Gentry. Because Gentry is like Beyonce. She comes in and just starts throwing her power around. I'll quit if you don't do what I want to do. So
she does not do that. But yes, Marissa and I will be back here next Thursday. You can catch us at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 Central, 6:30 Mountain, 5:30 Pacific. But we will be doing a special edition show of Songs We Hate next Tuesday on Station Head with Chappie. So yes, I'm so looking forward to it. He will be our guest, so looking forward to that. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Totally went way over time. I just looked at the clock.
That's what we do.
I'm about to turn into a fucking pumpkin. My ADHD can't handle this much on air time.
Adderall.
So for that, I say thank you guys for tuning in, hanging in here as long as you did. Poppy, I love you so much. Like I truly, you're such a fucking special person in my life and such a great friend. And I know my voice cracked a little because I get mushy when it comes to you and like certain people. And you're one of the people that like will check. Like if I'm not in Kendall's show or you don't see me around, I get a, hey, are you okay? How are you? From you. And that means so much to me, more than you understand. And I thank you for that. I love you so much. And all right, y'all. Thank you so much. And we will we'll be back here next Thursday. We will see you at your shows. And that's it. Good night.
Bye, y'all.
Jams, management schemes, and toxic plans. You chose a chill code, we can relate. Welcome to work life, the thing we all hate. Erika and Marissa, your workplace queens, sharing nightmares straight from the scenes. We hate it here, yeah, we hate it here, but at least we can laugh through the tears. Erika and Marissa have seen it all, from cubicle fights to the bathroom stall balls. We hate it here, yeah, we hate it here, from the break room draws to the bosses here. We hate it here, yeah, we hate it here, from the break room draws to the bosses here. We hate it here, oh, we hate it here. So grab a seat, it's horror premiere. Office gossip, printer jams, management schemes, and toxic plans. Your job's a joke, oh, we can relate. Welcome to work life, the thing we all hate. Erika and Marissa are your workplace queens, sharing nightmares straight from the scenes. We hate it here, yeah, we hate it here, but at least we can laugh through the tears.